Nikola Tesla and the Filipovs. Part 2. Their favorite was undoubtedly the ballad about a warrior from a Montenegrin battle which took place in 1874. Look of Filipov, one more hero to be part of the Servian gallery. Lute to lute and heart to heart tell the holy story. Let the Muslim hide for shame, trembling like their falcon's game, thinking on the falcon's Nemaic of Filipov. The verse goes on to describe a fierce battle, in which Luca captures a pasha and marches him back to the prince. However, on the way, Luca becomes wounded in an ambush, so his soldiers decide to retaliate by killing the arrested Turk. We'd have fired, but Luca's hand rose in protestation, while his pistol's mute command needed no translation, for the Turk retraced his track, knelt, and took upon his back as Abdullah lifts his pakluk of Filipov. How we cheered him as he passed through the line, a swinging gun and pistol bleeding fast, grim, but loudly singing. But as couriers came to say that offerings had won the day, who should up and faint away? Luka Filipov. One can easily envision Robert's and Catherine's eyes aglow as Tesla spontaneously translated May's ode in their living room one special evening, and how Robert worked to hone it for publication. From this moment on, Brother Robert would be known as Dear Luca, and Catherine would be addressed as Mrs. Filipov to Catherine. Tesla was more than Armin. He was an icon of historical importance, a trophy to display before her lady friends, and even more than this, he was a tangible symbol of intangible longings. In her essence, Catherine was a frustrated artist whose ever-present yearnings pulled her from moments of exaltation to the edge of despair. She must have been a difficult person to live with, but like Tesla, she had the capability to spark that realm that makes life all the more worth living. Selfish, egocentric, and histrionic at times, Catherine also had a dominant streak that not only pulled people to her, but manipulated them to her needs. Even the elusive hermit became a fly in her whip. Dear Mr. Tesla, she wrote in January 1894, we have had a hospital here since Thursday. Robert and Agnes, the invalids. Robert is better, but not out, and we want you to come this evening and brighten us up as a great favor. Come to us immediately. This beckoning to her auxiliary mate became a recurrent theme that replayed itself again and again through the next many years. For instance, in 1896, he wrote, Dear Mr. Tesla, I shall expect to see you tomorrow evening in 1897. Come soon, and in 1898, will you come to see me tomorrow evening? And will you try to come a little early? I am very much to see you, and will be really disappointed if you do not think my request worthy of your consideration. But Catherine was not alone in her infatuation. T.C. Martin had discovered him, but Robert would soon become Tesla's closest confidant. A triad of intimacy quickly transpired as Comerford Martin's hold on the inventor began to loosen, and just as much as the Johnsons would come to cherish Tesla, he would cherish them. Here was a loving family the isolate could bind to. Tesla's health constantly was an issue not only for their own concerns, but also for the good of the species. Martin, whose new article in the Century would certainly serve to advance his own career as well as Tesla's, was just as solicitous, and he discussed the precariousness of the situation with Catherine. I do not believe that he will give up work at any very early date, Martin wrote. Talking of California with him in a casual way elicited the fact that he had a couple of invitations to lecture there, so that I didn't want to jam his head into that lion's mouth. I believe he is going to take more care of himself, and you may have done us all a great deal of service by your timely words. Yet, in spite of that, Martin continued, I fear he will go on in the delusion that woman is generically a Delilah who would shear him of his locks. If you can manage it, I believe it would be a good scheme to have that doctor get hold of him. My prescription is a weekly lecture from Mrs. R.U.J. This passage, by a Tesla colleague, is a rare glimpse at one of the enduring mysteries about Tesla, namely his supposed celibacy and mysterious sexual inclinations. By coincidence, only a fortnight later, Heinrich Hertz was dead. He was only 36. Martin wrote to Tesla, For God's sake, let it be a warning to you. All Europe mourns for such an untimely taking off. But Tesla would take no heed, and his custom of driving himself to the limit would be a style of living that he would continue for many years. The future of the race and his role in it was clear to him. Nothing could stand in his way. The time will come, Tesla told Catherine, when crossing the ocean by steamer, you will be able to have a daily newspaper on board with the important news of the world. And when by means of a pocket instrument and a wire stuck in the ground, you can communicate from any distance with friends at home through an instrument similarly attuned. His gaze and seeming powers of divination took her breath away. Penetrating his inner sanctum only added to her captivation. At the outset, Tesla's unparalleled achievements, explosion into international stardom, and promise for the future generated an expressed desire for all to cash in, to sell his multitudinous array of inventions so that they could ascend together to the next social rung. Their goal was to become millionaires. Tesla's cold light appeared to be the first ticket, as Martin's erudite biographical essay had received words of praise even from competitors. Johnson suggested that they plan a second piece, one that featured the lab. Johnson would get some of his more famous friends to come, and photos would be taken. This would be an exclusive, the first ever with the new revolutionary cold light. Johnson writes, "We were frequently invited to witness his experiments, which included the production of electrical vibrations over an intensity not before achieved. Lightning-like flashes of the length of 15 feet were an everyday occurrence, and his tubes of electric light were used to make photographs of many of his friends as souvenir of their visits." He was the first person to make use of phosphorescent light for photographic purposes, not a small item of invention in itself. IWA is one of a group consisting of Mark Twain, Joseph Jefferson, Marion Crawford, and others who had the unique experience of being thus photographed. End of Nikola Tesla and the Filipovs. Part 2. Thank you for watching.